Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly Facebook Live from New York when it's 50 degree in May. Not so good. All right, so today we want to talk about something that I found to be like interesting for a lot of people who come to me and who ask, okay, how does the engagement work with you? Okay, we are interested in some tax planning, we're medical practice owners, we're doctors, we read your ebook. How does it work for us to work with you? How does the engagement look like? How does it work? What is the process? What should we expect from working with you? So I wanted to put this video together to go through the process and to simplify it as much as possible so you know what to expect. You know how does it look like. All right, so I have a presentation. I'm gonna share it with you. So let me share my screen and we'll get going. All right, so first thing here, just hide that so I can, yeah. So let's just start with the presentation. You've probably saw my ebook already. So today we're focusing on the three-step process we use to save doctors for between 50 to 250K per year on taxes. Very simple, very easy, and let's dive in. First, to start with, who am I? If you don't know who am I am a CPA by profession. My name is Susan Gabius. I'm a CPA by profession, and I wanted to say that I'm a CPA because I saw a lot of tax planners out there who talk trash about CPAs, as if the problem is dealing with CPA, or as if the problem that you're filing your taxes with the CPA, not that the CPA you're working with is not focusing on tax planning. He's only focused on compliance. So that's why I wanted to say there are some CPAs out there who are passionate about tax planning and some who are just passionate about compliance. And both of them are good. It depends on what you choose. It depends on your goals. It depends on if you're having a problem or not at all. It depends on your situation. It depends on your choice. Who do you choose to work with? So I'm a CPA by profession, and I'm also a CMA, a Certified Management Accountant, and I have an MBA with a concentration in accounting. I've been doing taxes for more than 13 years, so taxes is my strength point. That's why you have to when you choose when you talk to somebody, you have to see if if they have some tax knowledge, because some tax planners out there, you would talk to them and keep talk trash about CPAs, but then when you ask them a tricky question, tell you, "Oh, I don't know. I'm not a CPA. I don't know." Like, what is that? You have to know. If you're providing tax planning, you have to have some tax background. You have to have been working with taxes and you know tax law very well to be able to do a plan that's not gonna get me into audits or red flags or any problems there. So I've been doing taxes for more than 13 years. I founded Facts Pro in 2023, and the name was inspired because I thought it is all about facts, and facts stand for financial, accounting, and tax strategies. That's what I believe in. It all comes back to this. It all comes back to my financial, to my accounting, to my taxes. These are the three pillars where I would have good or bad financial position. I'm based out of New York, but I serve clients nationwide. So taxes are taxes. They're similar in all 50 states. State taxes are different. It depends on where you live, but it's not that much different. So it's not a real problem. If you are living outside of New York, I can still be able to help you. All right. Why doctors? Why choose my niche to be the doctors? First of all, because I know that you worked very hard to get to where you are. I know how many years you've studied, the residency that you've gone through, the fellowship, the years, like nights that you haven't slept, the rotations that you worked, 30s or maybe more hours straight shifts. I know all of it. So I know that you worked very hard to get to where you are. But you get drained with a high tax bill at the end of the year. About 35% goes to the IRS, another 10 to 20% goes to the state, depends on where you actually live. So you're in a problem. More than 50% of your hardworking income goes to taxes as if you had a business partner with majority partnership, like majority ownership. Most of your revenue goes to them, even though they haven't done them a lot of the hard work that you've done. And I can help. I can help you with that problem. I can help you reserve a lot of the money that you've worked so hard to get to. All right. How? It's the three simple steps. And it works the same way as when you treat your patient. So you will understand me when we talk this. First thing, discovery. Second, diagnostic. Third is treatment. So discovery, it's our fact-finding discussion. We have a fact-finding discussion. It's like, when your patient comes to you and you have to do some blood work, you ask them a lot of questions, medical history of like family history and all of that. You ask them a lot of questions. You're fact-finding. You're doing blood work to examine them. So first thing is to discover. Second is the diagnostic. After you get the results back from the lab, after you ask them all these questions, you're able to identify where is the problem. So you identify the problem and then you're able to treatment. They come back, you explain to them, okay, this is the problem and here how we can treat it. Explaining and implementing the treatment procedure. You have to agree together on a treatment procedure and you explain how this is gonna look like, what timeline it would fall under, and all of that. So you discuss all the details of the treatment after you identify where is the problem. So let's dive in a little bit more into each one of those. First, discovery. The discovery call is the first 30-minute free consultation I always talk about. You lose nothing out of this call. In this call, my goal is to get a clear picture of how things are currently structured for you financially. There could be some opportunities for improvement. There could be some things that it may be not right. Maybe things have been gone wrong in the past. This will help me to see and help you also to see if it makes sense to take a deeper look together. So this is in just the very beginning to see if this would make sense for both of us to work together. What do we talk about during this call? A lot of things. We talk about income sources. What's your streams of income? Whether it's a W-2, 1099, you have a business, you have a rental, you have a stock market. What are your sources of income? So income sources, entity structure. You're a medical practice owner. You have some business. How does your entity is structured? We talked about entity structure optimization before, so I have to make sure that it is done properly. So entity structure, business setup, real estate holdings. A lot of medical practice owners are real estate investors. So we talk about this. If you're holding any real estate and your rentals, how do you take care of your bookkeeping, your accounting, who's preparing your tax returns? How does your assets, debts, and financials look like? Who's your support system? Who's helping making the decision? Especially if you have a partner, if you have a spouse. What are your goals? What are your motivation? What's your future vision? There has to be a problem. That's why you're coming to see if there is a solution to it. So, what are we trying to achieve from this goal, from this call together, is to get to what is the problem that we're having. So, that's why we have to go through a lot of examination, a lot of questions, and hopefully to have a lot of answers. So that's why I'm having this. I want you to be expecting what I'll be asking you for. So come back prepared, come back with some answers, come back prepared to, okay, she will probably ask me for this. All right. So this is our discovery call. Sometimes I say, okay, so next step, I'd like to take a look at your financials. I'd like to take a look at your tax returns from prior years. Depends on where you are, will determine if like a more thorough review is required. And then a follow-up call, which is called the diagnostic call. This is a follow-up call where we identify the problem and suggest the solution. My goal out of this call is to communicate with you the problem as I see it and recommend a solution to you. So what do we talk about? We talk about high level diagnostic summary. I give you the high level issue that I'm seeing. We talk about the strategic findings that's tied to your goals because we discussed together what are your goals, where you want to go. And based on this and based on the problem, we talk about the strategic findings that we have. And from there, I walk you through the packages that I have. I have multiple packages, depends on what are your needs, depends on whether you want some one-time setup, you want like an ongoing help and maintenance, and depends on where you are, depends on what you need. And I'm not gonna let you be overwhelmed with so many packages. I'll give you the package that we have, and I'll make a recommendation based on what I see and based on my experience working with others in the same situation for you to be able to shed some light. Okay, I think that this is what I need. This make more sense. All right. And if you decide to move forward, usually the first payment is due upfront. There are no surprises there. I'm not scamming you. This is how it works. All right? Okay. Then comes the treatment plan. You're now where our goals aligned, we're decided to move forward. So this is usually delivered in like 2 to 4 weeks after our engagement. And my goal out of the treatment plan is to put a tax plan together so that you're not dependent on me to implement it. You're actually able to implement it on your own. But if you need help implementing it, then I can help you with it as well. We offer both, but I want you to be independent. I want to educate you through the process so that you know what's going on, you know the problem, you know the solution. You're able to walk on your both of your feet on your own. I don't want it to be dependent on me, but I want to be able to help you along the way. If you don't have the time, and I understand that, of course, and just Susan, just take care of it for me, sure, I will. But at the same time, if you're able to, and if you have the time, and if you want to do it on your own, all my pleasure. I'll explain to you in details what exactly you need to do. So what do we talk about? We're done talking. We now working. Of course, part of the work is talking. We keep the communication going. We talk about your goals again. We talk about what are the strategies. We customize a plan that's specific for your business. This is not one thing that you can share with your fellow physician and tell him, okay, I got this plan. Why don't you implement it? Because it's not going to work this way. It's a very custom based on what's your situation is. Again, same thing as it works with your patients. One medicine doesn't have to work with everybody, even if it's like a very common disease. You're not suggesting the same medicine to all the people with the same disease. It doesn't work this way. So we deliver a detailed tax plan that help you save between 50 to 250 based on the goals that you have, based on the what we agreed on, because we talk, we communicate, we're transparent on where we are and where do we need to get to. And well, again, we'll tell you exactly what to do. But if you need help with from our end implementing the plan, we'll get on it. And implementation may take up to a year. This is a journey. This is something that, okay, we need to do this today. We need to do this in 2 weeks. This thing you need to take care of at the end of the year. So it depends on where you are. It depends on the strategies. Some strategies we take care of at year end, and so it depends again what's going on. But every plan we deliver it comes with a 12-month monitoring, and 12, especially in 2025 because of the new tax law changes that's expected to come. If you come to us today and we make a plan today based on the law today and based on the expectation today, we tweak it as necessary as the law keeps changing. But regardless, anyway, you're covered for 12 months to make any changes to the plan, to talk about any changes in your situation. If you decide to get something, if you an opportunity raised itself up on you, then and you need to see if it makes sense to go in like in an investment or not. And if you want to change jobs, things that change all the time. So 12-month coverage comes with any plan that we offer. All right. So that's the three simple process that we go through with every client that we work with. I'll share with you some case studies. Um, these are real scenarios, maybe different names, of course, just animation pictures, but it's the numbers are real, the situations are real. So this is Jay. Jay was able to sell his business having almost zero basis for more than $1 million. So that means he had to have a capital gain tax of like maybe 200K between federal and state. But we created a unique charitable giving strategy for him that he was able to avoid this capital gain, and it was also fitting his philanthropic needs. He was somebody that he was willing to give to charities, and this plan was perfect for his goals and for him to avoid taxes. That's why we say it's a very custom, because what if you don't want to give to charities? Then it's not going to work for you. But if it worked for him, then it's perfect. We can look for some other strategies that can work for you, depends on your goals. That's why it has to be fitting your needs and your goals. This is number one. Another client, Jason. Jason was in his early 30s and he was looking to expand his real estate investment. We implemented a strategy for him to save $50,000 in taxes in just 1 year. He took this money, he put it as a down payment for a new property, and that will definitely bring him more savings in the future with continuous tax planning. Tax planning is a journey, and that's why we say this is per a year kind of thing. Like one plan can be implemented in 1 year that can generate you a savings not just in 1 year. It can generate you savings in years to come, and you can learn the trick and you implement it on your own from now onward. So that's why this is a great investment where you can like save huge and like use these savings for more investments. Kelly, what happened to Kelly? Kelly implemented just one strategy, restructuring her business. She had her business as a C Corp, but it wasn't the right structure for her. So we switched her to an S Corp, and that saved her about $40,000 in taxes because she was taking a lot of withdrawals, and that was double taxed on her end. So for her, S Corporation was making a lot more sense, and she saved about $40,000 on this. She also saved another $50,000 by adding an oil and gas investment to her portfolio that was recommended by us. So that's what we're saying. We sometimes we do recommendations to you of other investment. It doesn't have to be real estate. It could be other things as well that you put in your portfolio, and you will see the tax savings behind it and how much savings it can generate you. But it depends on your cash flow and your goals. That's why it's customized plan. Nancy, what happened to Nancy? Nancy was able to save $100,000, and this was crazy because we didn't have to do anything other than just properly categorizing her investment to passive versus non-passive. She just had it wrong in the prior years, and we went ahead and did this proper categorization, and that released a lot of losses from the past and had helped her save $100,000. And we strategically added another passive investment to her portfolio to release another $50,000 passive losses from prior years that help her save on her tax liability. Last thing I want to say that it's not all about tax savings. Like this client, and this is my favorite because he only switched working with me because he had no contact with his prior accountant except around the tax filing deadline. He needed someone to be able to rely on all year around to answer his questions, have periodic strategic meetings to discuss his goals, his planning, where his business wants to go, to seek financial advice. So, something that he was missing working with his prior accountant that was ghosting him or always busy enough to answer or just not available. So, as a result of working together, now he's able to significantly streamline his financial operations. He was able to reduce his overhead expenses because we keep monitoring. I keep like alerting him to what's not making sense. I help him read the financials because a lot of doctors I deal with are not like they don't understand how the financials work. They don't know how to read financials. So, me meeting with them on a periodic basis, helping them to read the financials right and pointing to them what might not make sense, help them reduce a lot of expenses and boost their profitability. All right, so that's really what I'm like aiming for to help you boost profitability, cash flow, and reduce your tax say your tax pain, your tax liability by helping you save on taxes and use these savings for tax smart decision making. I want you to be able to take decisions that are tax smart, that are helping you save along the way to become to again retain more of what you worked so hard to get to. All right, so here these are my contact information. If you find this helpful, or if you want to find out more information, if you want to get to the discovery call and from there decide whether you want to continue with the diagnostic call and the implementation, let me know and we go from there. Thank you so much. Hope everyone enjoys their Memorial Day weekend and see you next week. Bye.